This is KVUE News Midday.
Longhorns remember the student killed on UT's campus this week, what we're learning about Harrison Brown, and how you can help his family.
FBI Director James Comey speaking to Congress today on Capitol Hill, what he could reveal about the investigation into Russia's alleged connection to the Trump campaign.
And we're tracking a pretty big system in the heart of the nation. It is going to impact our weather here in Central Texas. I'll talk all about it coming up in the forecast.
Good morning to you. I'm Brian Mays.
And I'm Yvonne Nava. Family, friends, and the University of Texas community are mourning the loss of a UT student in this week's stabbing attack.
Memorials have begun forming where it happened and vigils being held. KVUE's Corey Coffin joins us now live from UT this morning with more. Corey.
Brian, Yvonne, good morning to both of you. Well, there are reminders all around this campus near Gregory Gym here where this happened. Take a look here at this one memorial where we've got a bunch of flowers have been bunched together here on the table with Gregory's, with Harrison Brown's photo. And then May 1st, 2017, please do not forget. A memorial is planned for Brown this evening. Another was held last night. The UT community gathered at the University Catholic Center to pay their respects. The clergy told us it's a time to comfort each other and help those impacted by the tragedy.
We're a community in pain and grief today, in times when we are faced with incomprehensible questions. It's not always important to have the right words to say or to think you can say something that makes it feel better, but sometimes just to be together is healing in itself.
The University Catholic Center is now accepting donations for a memorial fund to Brown's family. We've got all those details up on KVUE.com for that fund. And tonight's gathering will be at UT's main mall starting at 7 this evening. We also want to let you know about another event happening on Friday. The Ransom Notes, that's the a cappella group Brown was part of, will have a tribute for him at their final concert. That'll be this Friday at 6 p.m. at UT's Texas Union Theater. As for that suspect, Kendricks White, he's been charged with murder. He is in jail this morning on a $1 million bond. And we also know from police that the affidavit they released says that Brown was stabbed in the chest, and Kendricks told police he doesn't remember doing any of it. We do know that he has a history of mental illness and that he was involuntarily committed earlier this year. Reporting live on UT's campus, I'm Corey Coffin for KVUE News.
Corey, thank you. All new on Midday today, we've learned that the Austin police officer who's accused of trying to fake his own death has been found. Officer Coleman Martin has been captured in the Dallas area today. Police found his car near Del Rio, down on the Texas-Mexico border. According to an arrest affidavit, a woman who isn't Martin's wife shared an email with detectives in which Martin wrote to her and said his plan for a staged death had been successful. He then fled to Mexico before heading to the Dallas area. Martin's facing a Class A misdemeanor charge of filing a false report.
Well, looking live outside, if we can, it's a cloudy day, but when could we see some storms blow in? Let's get a look at what we're tracking out there with Storm Team meteorologist Erica Lopez. Hi, Erica.
Hey there, Yvonne. Well, a cold front just to the north of us. Our weather's going to change into the next couple of hours, starting with the hill country. The good news is that the majority of the severe threat just to the north of us. It's muggy, it's sticky out there, and things are warm. Current temperatures are in the 80s, but check out the dew points. We've been in the 70s all morning long. So a lot of Gulf moisture actually bringing in some severe weather threat just to the east of us. Check out this tornado watch that's currently in place. Lots of severe thunderstorm warnings currently in place. Thankfully, no tornado warnings, so we do have some flash flooding concerns. Louisiana is going to battle some flooding concerns all day long. As for us, some minor cloud coverage out there, and also we've had some isolated showers, light drizzle this morning. For the most part, we're in the clear, but this is how the next several hours are going to play out. Best chance of storms will be after 2 p.m. We're tracking strong to possibly maybe an isolated severe storm or two in our viewing area between 2 p.m. and about 5 p.m. That's going to be our concern. So that's why there is a slight risk in place. For our eastern counties, isolated strong to severe storms are possible. It's all associated with the cold front, again, that will be pushing through our viewing area. I'll break down in a little bit more detail hour by hour exactly what we can expect and how that's going to affect your rest of your work week forecast. I think you guys are going to like that forecast. I'll chat about it. Back to you.
All right, looking forward to hearing it. Thank you. Well, President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin say they'll work together to end the conflict in Syria. The two talked by phone yesterday, the first time they'd spoken since a U.S. missile strike on Syria early last month. Relations with Moscow had soured since then, but the White House said the two leaders' conversations went well. Hillary Clinton is making headlines again as she's pointing the finger at FBI Director James Comey for her election night loss.
ABC's Janae Norman reports this comes as Comey testifies today on Capitol Hill before the Senate Judiciary Committee.
FBI Director James Comey speaking candidly about what he calls one of the most painful decisions he's ever had to make.
I stared at speak and conceal. Speak would be really bad. There's an election in 11 days. Lordy, that would be really bad. Concealing, in my view, would be catastrophic.
The director says his team discovered thousands of new Clinton emails and ultimately decided to tell Congress they'd be reopening the investigation, and says in hindsight he'd make the same decision.
Look, this was terrible. It makes me mildly nauseous to think that we might have had some impact on the election, but honestly, it wouldn't change the decision.
According to President Trump's Twitter feed, FBI Director Comey was the best thing that ever happened to Hillary Clinton, and that he gave her a free pass for many bad deeds. Hillary Clinton stepped out of the shadows and into the spotlight after keeping a low profile since losing the election. She says she was well on her way to winning had it not been for Comey's last-minute letter to Congress.
I was on the way to winning until the combination of Jim Comey's letter on October 28th and Russian WikiLeaks raised doubts in the minds of people who were inclined to vote for me but got scared off.
Comey says his decision was bigger than that.
I can't consider for a second whose political fortunes will be affected in what way. We have to ask ourselves, what is the right thing to do, and then do that thing.
Democrats pressed Director Comey on why the FBI was silent all that time about the still ongoing investigation into the Trump campaign and Russian interferences. Director Comey says both investigations were treated the same. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
On Twitter, President Donald Trump expressing his unhappiness with the bill to give the government or to keep the government running. He tweeted, "Our country needs a good shutdown in September to fix a mess in the Senate." The bill leaves out big policy requests like the border wall. It does boost military spending. The vote happens later today.
Well, heavy rain causing major flooding across the Midwest. The video emerging today of the damage.
And a San Antonio mother pushing for policy change after her 5-year-old was left alone on the street. Why the school says the bus driver was right to leave the child at the bus stop.